When I bought my first bike, I had wanted, I've said this before I think in one of the videos, I wanted to do this when I was in my 20s, and my wife asked me not to, kind of the same in her 30s, and then I guess at or around the time COVID hit, I finally decided I was going to finally get a motorcycle. My wife was cool enough to take the course with me and get her license, even though she doesn't really have any interest in riding. She said she might be a passenger. And I always thought I was going to get a Harley Fat Boy. To me, that was a great looking bike and what I wanted. And then when I actually started to become a first time buyer, I was reading a lot of positive reviews about Indian, and I never rode a Harley. I ended up buying an Indian Scout as my first bike and kept that for just about a year before I moved on to the Super Chief Limited that I ride now. And I've really enjoyed both bikes. You know, I kind of felt like I outgrew the Scout a little bit, and the Super Chief Limited was and still is right now a good bike for me. I think one of the challenges I've had is the Indian network of dealers is so small compared to Harley. You know, in my area, I think there's, I don't know, 3 or 4 Harley dealers within the general area. I think that's still the case. I haven't looked lately. Whereas the Indian dealer, the closest one to me it's about 48 minutes away. The second one opened, they're about 45 minutes away. And then from there, I move into an hour and a half away. And so like Indian runs a promo with $50 off some parts, and some of the parts on their website you have to go to a dealer, and then $50 off a service. So I'm like, great, I'll get some heated grips installed. Well, because of staffing issues, and you know, you combine too much demand with staffing, and it's like, great, we can fit you in about 2 months, and it's like the promo's over by that point. The dealers have no creativity when it comes to, hey, why don't I just prepay for the service? It's, you know, pretty straightforward job. Put some grips on, or leave the ticket open and just start it and see if Indian will work with you that way. They don't even want to try. I guess they're so busy they don't care. And that was my experience this past week. So I was able to buy the part, but I'm not able to take advantage of the service. Now, what I like about Polaris is I did get in touch with Polaris and just tell them, look, I get it, people are understaffed right now, it's a hard time getting people, but I wish you'd leave these promos open for more than, you know, a month or two. Basically, they told me they couldn't do anything, but they gave me a $50 credit to use, I guess, on their website. I don't know if dealers would take that code. Maybe they would, but which they didn't have to do that. That was nice of Polaris to do that, and my interactions with them have been very positive. I think one of the downsides of buying an Indian, though, is the network of dealers is just limited. I don't care for one of the dealers in the newer dealer. They sell multiple brands, and I'm not convinced they know a lot about Indians, and they haven't been a great dealer to work with. When I tried to buy one used recently, I just gave up. It was such a bizarre, disappointing experience on their responses, and just, I make an offer and 3 days later I don't even have an answer. It's like they don't care. Get conflicting info. The other dealer I go to is only an Indian dealer. They don't sell multiple brands. And the owners of the business just seem to be in it as a business decision. I'm not sure I ever see any of the owners or the employees even ride a motorcycle, which is not, you know, terrible, but it comes across in the vibe I get when I talk to people. It's purely a business decision that they're running that, and there's no love of riding that I get when I talk to them. And then there's another dealer, an hour and a half, a little more than an hour and a half depending on traffic. That's where I ended up buying my first bike, because as a new rider, the owner there, you know, took time to talk to me. He didn't even know I was going to buy there. He just he spent about 45 minutes with me one-on-one, just talking bikes and BSing around, and let me get on a bike. And he actually, I had already passed the little course to get the license, but was still very nervous, and he took time with me in the parking lot. I bought just based on that alone. You know, obviously every business is running to make a profit, but you know, in terms of how it comes across, they've been really nice to interact with up in that other dealership. I'm not naming any of them here. I think the people from this area know who I'm talking about with each one. So the one that's being run, you know, like a cold business, I do go there for service. It's kind of equidistant for me to go to that one or this other one that's open now. But they do, they've had trouble keeping a tech on hand. But I do want to support the dealer. You know, I'll do some of the stuff myself. I know this is where a lot of the commenters end up saying, just do it yourself. And it's like there's a value on my time learning how to do all this. I don't mind paying for some of it to get done. It's not a problem. Some of it I'll try to do myself. Some I prefer to support the dealers so they're there if I ever need them.